Hey there, sweet friends. This is Gina. Welcome back to the Rebookery channel. Today we are going to be working on Finding Your Style 2, and we're going to be on episode 8, Gather and Sort. So the last time I left you, which was not too long ago, I left you with the task of making multitudes of pages of just art, and some could be finished and some could be not finished. So I felt like maybe you need a little bit of direction. I'm going to give you a little more support on this. So I have already done all of my multi-pages, and I'm going to show them to you. Not because I want you to produce the same thing I've produced, but I want to see, or I want you to see the difference in pages that I have created. So let me show you what I have done. So this is my stack, guys. This is hugely huge, okay? And this was about, I don't know, an afternoon. Some of this stuff is stuff from another day, but I had just been collecting. But for the bulk of this was an entire afternoon or an entire day. So what I did, and you can see these are my junk pages that we pulled in lesson 1. So what you can see is that some of the pages I have just paint and ink splattered down. Okay, some of the pages I have collaged on. This was the wallpaper. All I did on this was just put some gesso. And if you are not familiar with gesso, let me show you. Gesso is like a primer, and it's got a matte finish, or you can get, there's all kinds of gessos, but the kind I have has a matte finish, and it just acts like a barrier, or that first coat. And I got the cheaper stuff. There is expensive gesso, so mine is really translucent, like you can see through it. Now I can build up layers if I want, but I just kind of added gesso to a lot of my papers because some of my papers were really fragile. So this was the wallpaper. This was, if you can remember, this was a piece that had a part cut out of it, so I just taped it together. And then this is just some ink and some paint, some splotches. So all of my book pages, I went through that entire stack. This was the map paper. And then some of the pages are actually what I would call like a finished product. Okay, so some of these are more of a finished product, and I did some of these on a different day. There's no way I could have done all of that on that same day I did all my multi-pages, but some of these I did on a previous day, and the back sides may or may not be finished. Here's some I've already cut into, so that's kind of jumping ahead a little bit. So this was some more of the pages. Some of them I did fronts and backs. And then these are just old papers that I've just added ink to, or paint. I did that technique of where I had multiple pages going at a time. And so what that does is that allows me, oh, this was me attempting to draw a Westphalia, a VW bus. Yeah, this was, well, and I attempted to watercolor it. So yeah, it's going in the junk pile. We're going to use it, but I used that process of where I would put paint or something on one page, smush it down onto another page, and then get that page going. So you'll see a lot of the same colors because that's just kind of, that was just kind of my process. A lot of it is sloppy, unfinished. I did some playing around because the whole point of the multi-pages was just to have fun and experiment. So I did some playing around with modeling paste, and I tinted it with an orange acrylic paint. And so that's not something I typically do, but I was just playing around, and so I thought I would give it a try. Again, just lots of splotches of paint, and this is messy, and I'm okay with it. Oh, this was the Pinsies This was that Penzies paper. And then I just did a little bit of collage back here. The tablet papers that I had, I just gessoed those. And then this one, I left blank on the back. It's just got ink splatters, but then I did some collage. Oh, here was my, that letterhead paper. Oh, I love that. This was some spray inks, and I just used a stencil and just played around with some glitter paint. So this was a book page where I didn't do much on the back, but on this one, this has got some paint and stuff. And again, I did some, like through a stencil, I used that modeling paste. There's a lot of artists out there that do it really well, do tutorials and stuff on it. This was that, it was some junk mail, Sally Beauty. And I didn't do much to it. It's like you can see how this is coming off. So the gesso didn't really stick to this because it's the sheen that it had. So I don't know about this. We'll see. We'll hang on to it. That one I left blank. This one I stuck a doily on. I'll tell you what, doilies are pretty, but man, they are a pain to glue. So I think this is about to the end. Envelope. Here's an envelope I took apart. Gessoed on this side. Grid paper. Oh, here was that envelope, the big envelope. The other side of, this is the one where I did the timeline. So this was the back side, or because I tore it apart, so this was the other piece. So I just gessoed it and did some off spray ink. And then this was, yeah, one of those calendar pages, and I glued it to another piece of paper. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys that because I wanted you to see that this does not have to be a pretty, perfect piece of art. This was just you playing and just making, you want a nice big pile of these papers, okay? So in this lesson, what I'm gonna have you guys do is I want you to go back and think about our cake. So in the last lesson we talked about art can be, especially if you use layers, art can be, my metaphor was that it was like cake, where you have your sturdy layer at the bottom, that's your cake plate. You have this middle layer that is kind of sturdy, kind of fragile, and then you've got your top layer, and that's gonna be your stuff that's the most precious. So what I want you to do is I want you to go through, and once you've gathered up all your pages, I want you to sort into pages that would fall into this bottom layer. What would be pages that you could use as your cake plate? Okay, they could be that bottom layer. And then what would be layers, or what would be pages that you could use as the top layer? So for example, this was a piece, and it just made its way in here, but this was a piece that I had made, and it had a bunch of stuff on it. And I decided that it was, while it was strong, I decided that it would be better off being cut up and used as my icing. So I cut it up into shapes and stuff and letters, and I've been using it as my icing, okay? So let me kind of go through, and I'll just kind of do a little bit of a sort to kind of get you started. So this paper right here, if I trimmed it down, it's big enough, it could be the bottom layer. So I'm gonna put this in the bottom pile. Definitely, this would go in the bottom pile. I would put that in the bottom pile. Bottom. I'm not for sure on this because I could tear it up and use it as a top layer, but it could also be the bottom layer. So I'm gonna put it over in, I'm gonna put it in the top layer pile. I'm gonna go bottom on that one. I could cut this one up. The paper is not the best. I'm gonna go top on this one. Bottom, bottom, bottom. I'm not for sure on that one. I could cut this one up, but I think bottom. Okay, so I'll kind of speed this up. Okay, so now when I get to these finished pieces, I have to decide, could they be journal pages or would they be better served as being cut up? And I really just kind of need to decide, how much do I love these? If I don't love them and I don't really care for them to be seen, I'll put them on the bottom. But if I absolutely love them, I'm going to put them on the top because those are going to be things that I want to be seen. So I'm not in love with this. In fact, I don't know. That just, yeah, I don't even like that one. I don't know what I was doing there. Top, because I've already cut up. Could I cut stuff out? Or would it be better served as a cake plate? I'm gonna go cake plate, top. Ooh, this would be cool. What kind of paper is it on? Okay, so I know this is some old paper. It might hold up. Might be better off cut up. Cut it up. Again, not one that I like. Put it on the bottom. Bottom. This could be bottom. Ooh, I like this. I don't know what I did there, but I like that. So we'll go top. 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 Top because it's already ripped. This would be a good top piece. Ooh, this would definitely be a good top piece. Top. Top. Okay. So this piece, the size, and it's pretty strong. The size, it could be a bottom piece. I'm going to put it in the bottom pile. I can always switch this stuff over. Really like this. It could just be a bottom piece, and maybe I don't do anything to this side, but I could to this side. So I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to keep that one. I'm going to keep that one in the bottom pile. Keep that one in the bottom pile. Keep that one in the bottom pile. Oh, I love this piece. So I don't want to cut it up because I feel like if I cut this one up, it's going to lose. Part of the reason why I love it is because of the mishmash of colors. So I feel like I need to keep this one intact. So I'm going to put this one on the bottom. This is a top and this is a bottom. All right, let's see what else I have over here. The wallpaper, that's a sturdy piece. I could trim it down. It could be a bottom. This could be a bottom. You know, but this wonky size and stuff, this might just be one that I cut. This could be one that I cut. Let's see what else I have. God, I hope I haven't already done all these. Oh, okay. This is, we're going to go bottom on that. Bottom on that. We'll go top on this one. Okay, so I have my top layer papers and I have my bottom layer papers. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to actually take these pages, and rather than just sit them on a shelf and be like, oh yeah, that was fun, I remember when I did that, let's turn them into something that's usable. So we're going to turn these into finished products. I'm going to make a journal. I'm going to turn these into a true junk journal. Not one that's finished, but one that I can still go back into and use as my journal. Now I have two different versions of how we can make this into a journal. So I'm going to show you guys one where we would put it together and we would hand bind it. And then the other one I'm going to show you, if you are not into hand binding and you would rather do a binder style, I'm going to show you how we can do that. The other thing I'm going to show you guys is how we can use these papers other than journaling. Like, what else could we do with these papers? And how else can we take all of this play and turn it into something that's useful? Because we don't want it to just sit there and not do anything. Then it was like, you know, we just created stuff as a, you know, it's a waste. So I'm going to show you some ideas that I have picked up on how to turn this stuff into usable, functional art. So your lesson today is to go through your stack of multi-pages, your stack of papers that you played with, and sort them out. What could be used as the cake plate? What are those strong, sturdy papers that could go into a journal or could be the base of another piece of art or another creation? And then what are going to be your top layers, things that you could cut up and things that you could use as your icing on your cake? I will show you how to do a journal in the next video, and I think what we'll do is we'll do a hand-bound journal first, and then I'll show you guys the binder style journal. Okay? All right, my friends, I hope you are healthy. I hope you are happy. I hope you got some inspiration today, and I hope you do something creative today. I will see you in the next episode. Bye.